Hey everyone! Ever stop to think that numbers are kinda like a secret language? Well, they are. And today, we're gonna crack that code together. Seriously, by the end of this, you're gonna be reading, writing, and even building numbers like a total pro. So, let's jump right in with our first big clue. All right, let's kick things off with a little mystery. Have you ever seen a number like a million written in these two different ways? One looks like 10 lakh, the other like 1 million. It's the same exact value, but it looks totally different. So what gives? Well, it's not a mistake. It's just two different dialects of the same number language. And that leads us right to our first mission. We're gonna decode these two number systems. Let's make sure that from now on, you're never confused by a comma ever again. And you know what? The secret behind it all is surprisingly simple. It literally all comes down to where you put the commas. Just think of them like punctuation. They tell you where to pause and how to group the numbers. And that completely changes how you read the whole thing. Okay, so here are the two dialects side by side. On one hand, you've got the Indian system, which uses awesome words like lakhs and crores. On the other, there's the international system. This is probably the one you see most often, which groups everything into thousands and millions. It's really just different words for different sized chunks of number. Let's make this real with an example. Take the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In the Indian system, those commas group it as 12,34,567. But the international system? It reads it as 1,234,567. See that? Same exact digits, but the commas make you read them in two completely different ways. Pretty cool, right? So, how do you get the hang of the Indian system? Easy. It's got this cool little rhythm. You start from the right, and your first comma goes after 3 digits. But after that, it's all about pairs. You put a comma after every 2 digits. Just burn this pattern into your brain. 3, then 2, then 2. That's it. And the international system? It's even easier. It is obsessed with the number 3. You just start from the right and pop a comma in after every group of 3 digits. That is literally the entire rule. Once you know that, you've totally got it. All right, code breakers, you're doing great, so let's level up. We're going to jump in a time machine and crack an even older code, Roman numerals. I mean, this is the system that an entire empire used, and its logic is just fascinating. Now get this, the whole Roman numeral system, the whole thing is built on just 7 basic symbols. You've got I for 1, V for 5, X for 10, all the way up to M for 1,000. These 7 letters are the only building blocks you'll ever need. Of course, just knowing the symbols is only half the fun. You need the instruction manual, right? So rule 1 is the repetition rule. You can put some symbols next to each other up to 3 times to add them up, like I is 3. Rule 2 is the addition rule. If a smaller symbol comes after a bigger one, you just add them together. So VI is 5 plus 1, 6. And then there's rule 3, the really clever one. If a smaller symbol comes before a bigger one, you subtract. This subtraction rule, honestly, it's like the secret handshake of the Roman numeral club. It was their slick way to avoid writing 4 I's in a row. So instead of I, they just wrote IV, which is 1 from 5. Same idea with IX for 9. Once you get this one concept, I promise the whole system just clicks. Okay, to make you a true master, let's go over the common traps people fall into. First, you never ever write I for 4. That's what IV is for. Also, symbols like V, L, and D, they're never repeated. Just keep those 2 little things in mind, and your Roman numerals will be absolutely perfect. So we've been decoding numbers that other people have written, but now it's time to flip the script. In this part, you get to be the creator. We're going to learn how to build the absolute biggest and smallest numbers you can from any set of digits. All right, here is your first challenge. You've got 5 digits, 3, 0, 5, 9, and 1. Your mission is to arrange them to make the biggest, greatest number possible. Take a second, think it over. Okay, you ready? The answer is 95,310. Did you get it? If you did, that's awesome. And if not, don't even worry about it because the secret to this is actually super simple. So, the trick to making the greatest number is just to put your most valuable digits in the most important places. All you do is line them up from biggest to smallest. So the 9 goes first in the 10,000s place. Then the next biggest, 5, goes in the thousands place. And you just keep going down the line. That's the whole secret. Okay, you crushed that one. So let's try the opposite. Using those same 5 digits, what's the smallest number you can build? Now, I gotta warn you, there's a little bit of a trap in this one, so be careful.
And the correct answer is 10,359. Now, I bet some of you might have put the 0 at the very beginning, and that is a totally normal thought. But it brings us to a really important special rule.
So the general idea is to line up the digits from smallest to biggest. Your first instinct is probably to write 0, 1, 3, 5, 9. But here's the crucial rule. A real number can't start with 0. So what do? It's simple. You just swap the first 2 digits. The next smallest number, the 1, takes the lead, and the 0 tucks in right behind it. Then you just continue the pattern. That's the secret to getting it right every time. And just like that, you've done it. I mean, think about it. You've decoded comma systems, you've cracked an ancient code from the Roman Empire, and you've learned how to build numbers like an architect. You are officially a number master. All right, let's do a super quick-fire recap to lock it all in. First up, the Indian system. Remember that special rhythm? It's 3, then 2, then 2. Next up, the international system. Way easier to remember. It's just 3s, 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 all the way down the line. Nice and steady. And finally, the master key for the Roman code. If you see a smaller symbol before a bigger one, that's your signal to subtract. It's the secret handshake that unlocks the whole system. You came in here today curious about a code, and you're leaving basically speaking a whole new language. How cool is that? So I'm going to leave you with one final mission. As you go about your day, keep your eyes open. Look on a sign, in a book, on your phone. Now that you're a number master, what's the biggest number you can find out there in the wild?